Hey guys, good morning. I have a fun day of a bunch of foodie projects planned, so I thought I would bring you along. I've been doing a lot of research and wanting to get into fermentation and making like homemade cultured artisan nut cheeses. So I'm gonna start a few projects like that today. I'm making kombucha, sauerkraut, and kimchi, all for the first time. I thought I would document my first try with you guys. Try and show you what I eat too, because I know you guys like those types of videos. So I'm drinking coffee, decaf, dark roast coffee. I have a couple drops of the English toffee stevia drops. Then I put in a splash of the Nut Pods hazelnut creamer. Probably would not repurchase this. I was just super curious to try it. I'm gonna try the Ripple half and half next for my coffee. And then for food, I don't get super hungry in the morning, so I'm just having something small. I've got a piece of this toast. This is by Rudy's Organic Bakery. On this, I'm gonna put, I have some homemade cultured almond like cream cheese that I added some like chives and onion powder and garlic powder to, and some dill. Like I said, I've been super into culturing like nut cream. I made homemade vegan cultured butter the other week and it's so good. I'm literally never buying store-bought vegan butter again. As good as the Miyoko stuff is, making it at home is so much more cost effective. And then I finally revisited the carrot lox recipe that I made like over a year ago. It's just been marinating for kind of a while. So this is gonna be my breakfast. And then I have to stop by the Asian market to pick up the ingredients for the kimchi. So while I'm there, I think I'm gonna stop by the gym, 24-hour fitness that's nearby, get in a pull workout. Seriously, you need to try making your own nut cream cheese. It's so easy. You just need the nuts, soak them, blend them, add a couple tablespoons of vegan yogurt, pre-made store-bought vegan yogurt, and let it sit at room temperature for a couple days until it gets as sour as you want it to be. So much better than like tofu or daya. I made it to 24-hour fitness. I'm gonna go in and do a back biceps and maybe a little bit of accessory leg work. We will see. Probably won't be in there for more than an hour. I finally got some vegan BCAAs. These are by the MRM brand. They were on sale at Sprouts. Watermelon flavor, tastes so good. Tastes like fruit punch. I just got back from H Mart. I'll show you everything that I got there, but first I'm starving. It's been hours. I was out for a lot longer than I planned to be. Plus my workout took longer than, I don't know. Sometimes you're just like in the zone at the gym and you just keep adding stuff to your workout. So that's what happened, but I'm really hungry. I'm gonna really quickly make a ramen. This brand, My Ramen, sent me like a sampler with their soy sauce and miso and salt flavored ramens. They're all really good. They're all vegan. So I'm gonna make one of these. I'm gonna add like whatever veggies I have in the fridge just to make it a little bit healthier. I've been working out a lot more often again, several times a week, and I just started climbing too, so that's fun. But the benefit is that I get to eat a lot more now, so that's cool. Like yesterday, I had an entire box of the Annie's vegan mac and cheese. This was on sale at Sprouts too. Sprouts had like a huge buy one get one free sale. So I got some of this and it's really good. Okay, while that boils, I'm gonna show you what I got at the Asian market. I definitely got more things than I had planned to get. I just really needed the kimchi stuff, but like Asian market is like heaven, so I got some other fun things. Scallions were super duper cheap, so I got extras. I got some Korean radish for the kimchi. Big bag of Korean sea salt that I'm gonna use for the kimchi and the sauerkraut. Huge bag of the, I don't know how to pronounce it, gochugaru, I think, the red pepper flakes. Kimchi typically has some sort of fish or shrimp in it, so to sort of replicate that fishy flavor, I have some dried shiitake mushrooms and some seaweed, some kombu. Big knob of ginger, and I got some rice flour because I think traditionally you would make like a porridge out of this and add all of your ingredients so that it can really coat the cabbage leaves. And then the star of the show, some Napa cabbage. Then some random stuff. I picked up some king oyster mushrooms. Lots of fun stuff you can do with this in vegan cooking. Got some soybeans because I want to try out the soy milk recipe again from the Miyoko's Vegan Pantry Cookbook. And then I got some mung beans because I've been also interested in like starting to sprout things. So I'm gonna sprout these. Then I picked up a sushi mat. And I think that's all. Yeah, so I'm gonna take a second pause, eat my ramen, and then we'll start getting into fermentation mode. Here's the ramen. I just added some frozen broccoli and some baby corn, and I'm gonna put on, this is my new favorite hot sauce, literally putting it on everything. So good, buy it now. Noodles are just the best thing ever. Okay, we gonna switch to voiceover mode here because there's a lot going on. I'm gonna walk you through all the projects I started, starting with the kombucha because it's super, super simple. So I got a kit from Amazon. I'll link the one I got down below. You can get the starter for pretty cheap, under 10 bucks. I also got a kit with like cheesecloth and this big gallon jar. And you really only have to buy this once because after you have a starter, you can just use it over and over again, over and over again. So you start out by dissolving some sugar in hot water. This looks like a lot of sugar. It is, but this is the food for the SCOBY. So the final product will not contain this much sugar, don't worry. And then you brew some tea. The kit said that you could use black, green, or white tea. I went with black. Then after that, I added some cold water to bring it to room temperature, and then I just dropped in my SCOBY. I covered it with some cheesecloth, the rubber band, and I set it aside, and this ferments for 7 to 10 days. Moving on to the kimchi, start out by cutting up your Napa cabbage. I've seen people just keep the cabbage in quarters and rub the salt between the leaves. I decided this time to just go ahead and chop it up, so that's what I did here. Next time I'll probably do larger pieces though, because they did shrink a lot after I salted them. So I rinsed them really quick with some water. This is mostly just to get the salt to stick to the leaves, and then I sprinkled on some of that Korean salt between layers of the cabbage. And then I let my cabbage sit in that salt for a total of 4 hours while I was working on other things in between. And every hour or so, I gave it a toss just to make sure it was all evenly coated with the salt. Now, near the end of that soaking period, I prepped my other veggies, so that Korean radish and some carrot. I just julienned, chopped up some green onions, a whole bunch of those. At the end of that 4 hours, you can see the cabbage shrunk a lot, it got a lot softer, and there's a ton of extra liquid that it shed at the bottom of the bowl. So I dumped it into a colander and did my best to rinse off the excess salt. Next time I will use less salt because I found the final product to be a little too salty. Then I soaked some shiitake mushrooms and the kombu in hot water to make a sort of fishy flavored broth. Whisked in a couple tablespoons of the glutinous rice flour to make a sort of porridge. I had tons of garlic, I had some apple for sweetness, and then a whole white onion, a small one. Just tossed that in my Vitamix, and I added the rice porridge, and then I gave that a whir to make it smooth. So I had my cabbage, my daikon and carrot, added my green onions, and then that sauce. And then over top I added a cup of the chili peppers. I will probably add more next time. I would like it to be a little bit spicy. I massaged that in to coat all of the leaves. Then I took half of it out, put those in jars. Into the remainder, I added some roasted sesame seeds for some extra flavor, stirred those in really well, and then jarred the rest of the kimchi. And I just made sure to press down every so often. I left some extra room at the top too because it bubbles up and expands as it ferments. I ordered some fermentation weights, so I tried 1 jar with fermentation weights, 1 jar without to see if it makes any difference. And now we are moving on to the sauerkraut. This one's so much easier. All you do is take your green cabbage, shred it up nice and thin. Sprinkled this with about a tablespoon of the sea salt, and then I massaged it in really well. I ended up putting on gloves because, I don't know, my hands were super dry. So I really went to town on this guy, and it shrunk a lot, as you can see. Lets out a lot of extra water as you're massaging it too. And I transferred it to a mason jar. This is a full head of cabbage, and it shrunk so much that it fit into 1 mason jar. Then there was a bunch of extra liquid, salty liquid at the bottom, poured that over top, and also used a glass fermentation weight just to keep all of the cabbage submerged under the liquid. You can see I'm storing it at the back of a dark cupboard. Okay, I'm back. It's been many, many hours since I last checked in, but all our projects are finally done. So I've got our kimchi, 2 of them have the sesame seeds, 2 without, our sauerkraut, and our kombucha. So this will ferment for 7 to 10 days. Then this, I think, takes a couple weeks. And then the kimchi, just 3 or 4 days, I believe. I'm gonna check it after 2 days and see if it's as sour as I want it to be. But this is just for the first fermentation for the kombucha. After the 7 to 10 days, You can bottle it, add any fruit juices or sugar that you want, and then do a secondary fermentation, and during that time it gets carbonated. So I'll update you when I try out all of these things in future videos, and then I might do dedicated videos for each of them once I've made them a couple times and gotten more comfortable and tried out different variations. I'm super excited that I finally took the time to make these things. I've been thinking about it, doing research for the longest time, and I feel like now I want to make hard apple cider and maybe even make beer. I know that's a little bit of a longer process. I don't even really like beer, but I'm such a nerd when it comes to learning how things are made. I like making things from scratch when possible. This video is getting really long, but before I sign off, I wanted to do one more thing. I've had the entire line of dairy-free Halo Top in my freezer for a long time. I haven't had a chance to film a taste test yet, so I want to do that right now. So if you haven't heard of Halo Top yet, they're a brand of ice cream that is just lower in calories. It's sweetened with erythritol and stevia. They added fiber and some rice protein. And so, for example, this one, you can eat the entire pint. It's 320 calories. Just a heads up though, you can't really expect this to be exactly like full fat, sugary ice cream like vegan Ben & Jerry's. It's a different thing. This is great if you are dieting, if you're trying to hit specific macros, or if you're someone who likes to eat an entire pint of ice cream in one sitting. I've never been able to do that personally, but if you're that person, this would be good for you. So Halo Top's not sponsoring the video, but they did send these to me to try out on the channel. But a couple months back, I did purchase the caramel macchiato flavor and the cinnamon roll flavor. I found them at Whole Foods. Since I've already tried the caramel macchiato flavor, I know that I like it. It has swirls of caramel in it. There's some ice creams that you have to let sit out on the counter for like a full 10 minutes before they're soft enough to eat. These pretty much right out the freezer are super creamy. I think this one is my favorite flavor. It doesn't taste too artificial. I will say all of these are a little bit gritty because there is rice protein in them, but this flavor in particular I think is pretty smooth in texture. Cinnamon roll. I can already tell you, I did not really care for this one. However, I've seen other people review it and say it was their favorite flavor, so it's probably just a personal preference thing. So this one has a cinnamon swirl in it, and it also has little chunks of like dough, cinnamon roll dough. I personally just always go for like caramel or chocolate flavors, so I wouldn't gravitate towards this flavor on my own. Sort of in the same vein, we have the oatmeal cookie. The texture on these varies a little bit, so this one is a little less creamy than the other ones. I actually don't mind this one at all. I prefer it a lot to the cinnamon roll one. I think the flavor is really good on this. I'm actually kind of surprised that I like this one. So the next one I knew I was destined to like. This is the sea salt caramel. I've already eaten a good amount of this one. This one also has a very like soft, creamy texture, and it has a caramel swirl in there. Compared to the caramel macchiato one, this tastes a little bit sweeter to me, almost like butterscotch, but the texture on this one is also really good. Moving along, we've got the peanut butter cup. Y'all know how I feel about peanut butter, about the peebs. This one has like chunks of peanut butter in there. There, you can kind of see it, the peanut butter swirl on the spoon, and it's hardened a little bit. But peanut butter in anything, I love it. I wish there were more peanut butter in here though. I've already confessed, I'm the person who goes through and picks out all the like fun bits out of the ice cream, the hard chocolate, the peanut butter, the cookie dough. That's me. Let's do the chocolate. Plain good old chocolate. This one also is not as creamy as the like caramel ones. There's something, a flavor in the back. It's a little weird. I wish it were a bit of a darker, richer chocolatey flavor, but it's pretty good. Wait, I just put my finger on it. This tastes like fudgesicles. This tastes like my childhood, going to my grandparents' house during the summers in San Diego, eating fudgesicles with my cousin and my sister. Wow. How weird is it that you smell things or taste things and you're just instantly brought back to very specific memories? Whoa. All right, If you like fudgesicles, you might like this. Last one, chocolate covered banana. I've already gotten into this one, as you can see. Only time I would ever pick out a fruity ice cream would be if there were like a strawberry cheesecake or chocolate raspberry flavor. But I tried this and it tastes exactly like banana Laffy Taffy. It just reminds me of Halloween when I was a little kid. The banana flavor does taste pretty artificial, very in your face. So weird, why do I like it so much? This one is also super creamy and fluffy, which I like. There you have it. If I had to pick my favorites, caramel macchiato, sea salt caramel, my absolute favorite. I would repurchase these for sure. Very surprised, I actually really like the oatmeal cookie. I like all of them to some extent except for the cinnamon roll one. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I'm now very, very cold. There's snow outside. This is new to me as a California, well, I wasn't born in California. I was born in Hawaii, but I was raised for most of my life in California, at least for as long as I can remember. So it's very cold and I just ate ice cream. My hands are freezing. Thank you for watching today's video and I'll see you very soon. Bye.